The city lights dwindled behind him like the last embers of a dying fire. Mike didn't look back, not even once. He gripped the steering wheel tighter than necessary, as if the pressure alone would keep his thoughts from spilling out. The highway opened up before him, an empty vein of asphalt slicing through fields of nothing. It was late, past midnight, the kind of hour where memories whisper louder than the radio. The hum of the tires was a comfort at first. The white lines passed beneath him in hypnotic rhythm. His headlights carved a narrow tunnel through the darkness. A soft alt-rock station murmured through the speakers, distant voices, muffled like a conversation through glass. He didn't know where he was going, only that he was leaving. Behind him, a life, some version of it. A woman, maybe. An apartment with water stains on the ceiling. The echo of an argument, or maybe just silence stretched too thin. The road was simple, familiar. A route he'd driven before, back when he still went places on purpose. Gas station every few miles. Billboards for car insurance and casinos. Roadkill, motels, the occasional taillight far ahead like a red ghost. But then he passed a turnoff he recognized. Exit 14B. There was always a diner there. It should have been lit up, buzzing with truckers and stale coffee. Tonight it was dark, abandoned. The sign was there, but unlit. The parking lot empty. He glanced at the radio. Static now. Just a soft crackle. Then silence. He pressed a few buttons. Nothing. No signal. The GPS flickered once, then froze. The map stopped moving, as if the world had decided to stop tracking him. Mike frowned, shook his head. Maybe he'd driven out of range. He looked up again. No more billboards, no signs, just black road and blacker night. Okay, he muttered. That's weird. He checked the clock on the dashboard. 1:42 a.m. Same time it had said 20 minutes ago. A prickle climbed up the back of his neck. Just tired, he told himself. But the road didn't curve where it used to. It didn't rise and fall like it always had. It was too smooth, too flat, like a model someone built from memory, missing a few pieces. He turned down the radio volume, though it was already silent, and cracked the window. Cold air rushed in, but there were no sounds out there. No insects, no wind, just the hum of the car and his own breath. A green road sign appeared ahead. He leaned forward to read it. Nothing. No letters. Just a blank sheet of metal mounted on rusted poles. He passed it, and it disappeared in the rear view. The highway stretched endlessly ahead, like it had always been there. Like it would always be. He blinked. His hands were still on the wheel, still driving. But something had shifted. He reached for his phone. No bars, no GPS, no Wi-Fi, no time. Screen frozen, 1:42 a.m. Still, Mike didn't remember how long he'd been driving. He checked the fuel gauge again. Still 3/4 full. Strange. He could have sworn he'd been on the road for hours. The clock on the dash hadn't changed. Still 1:42 a.m. Still. He turned on the overhead light, then off, then on again, just to feel something respond. Nothing else did. There hadn't been a gas station in how long? No exits, no cities, no mile markers. Just a ribbon of perfect black pavement unspooling endlessly ahead, unmarred, unchanging. Not a single crack or pothole. All right, he said to himself. This is getting weird. He eased the car to the shoulder. There wasn't even a rumble strip, just a clean edge of road that bled into gravel, then dry grass, then darkness. He looked around, turned off the engine. Silence. Complete, suffocating silence. He stepped out. The door creaked like it hadn't been used in years. The air was nothing. Not cold, not warm. Still. He looked up. No stars, no moon, just a blank sky, dark but not black, like a ceiling with the lights dimmed. He got back in the car and turned around, heading back the way he'd come. 10 minutes passed, 20, no turnoffs, no road signs, not even roadkill. The same stretch of trees repeated every few miles. He noticed a gnarled trunk with a split branch, then saw it again and again, spaced evenly apart. He turned the wheel hard to the right, drove across the shoulder, back over the road, and then back again, zigzagging, trying to break whatever pattern he was in. But the road didn't care. It swallowed every gesture in silence. He pressed down on the gas, flying faster than he should have. No change, no curve. The world didn't blur. It just repeated, endlessly. He screamed. It came out raw, ripped from somewhere deep. "Where the hell am I?" His voice died fast, like it got absorbed into the asphalt. He hit the brakes, got out again. The engine ticked. The headlights hummed, but everything else was mute. He sat on the hood, hands in his hair. "Am I dead?" he whispered. "Is this it? Purgatory with a steering wheel?" The thought chilled him more than the night air. What if there'd been an accident? What if he'd fallen asleep back in the city and never woke up? What if this was the last moment before death, stretched out into eternity? "No," he said. "No, no, no." He forced himself back behind the wheel, drove again, faster, then slower, then nothing. He turned the engine off, sat there in the dark. Eventually he must have dozed off, his head against the window, hands in his lap. When he opened his eyes, same place, same road, same frozen dash clock, 1:42 a.m., same impossible stillness. Terror crept in, not sharp but dull, like a slow leak in the brain. "This isn't a road," he whispered. "This is a cage." And somewhere in the distance, just for a second, he thought he saw headlights coming toward him, but they never arrived. The engine had been off for a long time now. Mike no longer felt the need to go anywhere, because there was no anywhere left. He opened the door again and stepped out. The moment his feet touched the ground, something subtle changed. Not in the landscape, that stayed the same, but in the air, like the moment between heartbeats, stretched too far. He stood for a while, listening for something, anything, but there was no wind, no rustle, no breath of insects, not even the pressure of gravity felt right. It was all slightly wrong, just a few degrees off from reality. He walked. The gravel crunched beneath his shoes, but it didn't echo. He walked for minutes, hours. He couldn't tell. No landmarks, no changes. When he looked back, his car was gone. He spun around. The road stretched behind him, ahead of him, to both sides. Then his car reappeared, not where it should have been. It sat silently about 50 yards ahead of him, parked neatly on the shoulder. Mike's chest tightened. He hadn't moved it. He was sure. He approached slowly. The interior lights glowed faintly, as if someone had just gotten out, but the keys were still in his pocket. That's when he saw her, a figure standing just past the car on the roadside, thin, small, still, like a silhouette that had always been there. At first he thought it was a child, pale skin, dark hair, bare feet. Then she spoke. "You took too long," she said, calm, unafraid. Mike froze. Her voice didn't carry through air. It arrived in his ears like thought. "Who are you?" he managed. She didn't answer. Instead she said, "You're not dead. That would be easier." "What is this? What is this place?" She looked down the road. "This is between, a crack in the moment, a pause before choice." Mike blinked. "A pause? You didn't decide. You fled. So you came here." "I didn't. I was just driving." "No," she interrupted gently. "You were running. And when the moment came to face what you did, you stalled. You blinked. You turned the key and left the scene." He felt like his lungs stopped working. "I didn't hurt anyone." "Didn't you?" she said, tilting her head. "Then why are you here?" He couldn't speak. His mind raced but found no exit. She stepped closer, not walking, just nearer. "This isn't punishment," she whispered. "It's space, between the seconds, between who you were and who you could be." Mike backed away. "I want to go back." "Then choose," she said. "Stop circling. Stop stalling." "I don't know what I'm supposed to choose." She looked at him with something like sadness. "You do." Then she vanished. No sound, no trace. He turned back toward the car. It was farther away now, the sky darker. Everything around him slowed, as if time had been holding its breath and finally let it out. His legs trembled. He wasn't in motion anymore. The road was not a path. It was a pause, and he'd been stuck in it. Far too long. Mike stood in the middle of the road, trembling. The darkness stretched infinitely in every direction. But inside him, something finally cracked open. He could see it now. Not the road, not the sky, the moment. It had been raining. City lights smeared across wet pavement. He was behind the wheel. A red light. A woman crossing the street. A phone buzzed. A glance down. A horn, screaming brakes. Then, nothing. He had driven. He hadn't stopped. He told himself he didn't see, that it wasn't his fault, but he knew. He knew. And that knowledge, suppressed, denied, buried, had built this road, this purgatory, this perfect loop. He fell to his knees. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I didn't mean to." The words caught in his throat. "I was scared." The girl's voice echoed in his mind. "You didn't decide." And now finally he did. He stood, wiped his face, looked up at the empty sky. "Enough," he said aloud. "I don't care what's next. I'm not hiding anymore." The wind returned. A breeze stirred his hair. The air tasted real. And then, up ahead, a glow. Warm, soft, faint yellow against the dark. A road sign blinked into existence. Exit 0. Below it, 2 words, "This way." He walked toward it, slowly at first, then faster. His car was gone now. It didn't matter. The ramp descended gently into a mist. Trees lined the edge, their leaves moving slightly. Alive again. Birdsong, distant, barely audible. He reached the bottom. There was a door, just a simple wooden door, standing in the center of the road. No frame, no building, no hinges. Just waiting. Mike took a breath, placed his hand on the knob. "Please," he whispered, "let me fix it." He turned it. White light, not blinding, but full. And then, sound, smells, time. He was back, but not where he left. He stood at the corner of a street. Rain on his jacket, his car parked behind him. Across the intersection, a woman walking, the same woman. But this time, he wasn't in the driver's seat. He was there, watching. Frozen in the moment before, a chance, a whisper behind him. "Choose." He stepped off the curb, walked toward her, tears rising without shame. "Ma'am, wait." She turned, confused. Alive. The scene melted. Time shifted. He blinked. And he was back in his car, parked beside a real gas station. The sun just beginning to rise. The radio played softly. The clock ticked forward. 6:13 a.m. He sat still, breathing. Then he smiled. Not from relief, but from clarity. He turned the key. The engine came to life. This time he wasn't running, but far behind him. Deep beneath the highway's skin, a blank road still waited. Still perfect, still silent, for the next soul who forgets to choose.